Hello everyone, it's Pere, and this past weekend was the European Championship held by Final Rep in Germany in the south. I was there competing, but there were also other amazing athletes, and in this video I'm going to be commenting some of the world records I find interesting. Let's dive right in. So to start, let's go with Aubin with the 46.25 kilogram muscle up. He sadly failed the third with 50 kilos, but still it's the second heaviest muscle up ever done, aside from me, which is very impressive. Obviously, I'm talking about competitions. In trainings, I've seen some of these athletes do 47.5. I just appreciate the 46.25. It's crazy because he does so little swing. Me, I do a tiny bit more swing, but his swing is just so little. He also does the double swing, which means that when he just leaves the box, he does an extra swing. I think that comes from because in France, they need to put the plate in the middle. When you have to put the plate in the middle, it makes sense to do double swing, so you have more time to adjust for the proper setup because it's harder to exit the box. But with the plate in front, it's easier, so you can just do one swing generally. But that's maybe why he's doing a double swing, which is different from me. He's very used to taking very little swing and using the plates to push himself backwards to overcome the bar. But it just looks amazing. I trained with him actually a month ago or so, and he did 47.5 there and looked more or less like this. And then he tried 50 and he missed the 50 in that training, and it looked very similar. And I was there watching, and I thought that he would probably miss the 50 sadly. But still, it's an impressive lift, and I enjoyed being there watching other people lift crazy muscle ups. To continue with the muscle ups, we're going to talk about Martha, which is a minus 57 kilogram athlete, and she managed to muscle up 27.5 kilograms, which is crazy. It's the heaviest muscle up ever done by a female, if I'm not mistaken, in a competition. You can see the video, hanging still at the bottom, clean pull, and she gets it up super easy. It looked like she could maybe even lift 30 kilos. I mean, that's almost half her body weight. And referring to the technique, we can see that she grips the rings like pretty high on the side. So the wrist, it's right in the lowest point of the ring, which might make it easier on the transition, because if you grip the rings at the lowest point with your hand, then your wrist is a little bit higher up, but she grips it more to the inside, which is interesting. We see some other athletes do this, but I don't know, it's just amazing. The plate is in between the legs. I don't know why she doesn't put it in front. Some people prefer it in the middle. Overall, crazy performance, crazy muscle up. Talking about muscle ups, I come next with the 53 kilogram world record muscle up in the minus 87 kilograms category. This was my third attempt. I was planning to maybe go to up to 55, but the last weeks of training for muscle up and pull up were not very good, so I had to leave it 53 for the third attempt. Overall, a decent performance. I was planning for a little bit more, but of course I cannot get mad at it. It's a world record. You will see now the lift. I liked gripping the bar as high as possible to making the transition easier, so your wrist is higher when you grip. And yeah, a clean pull and a good muscle up. They called for the VIR for checking the arms were a little bit, like I went a little bit to the side when going up and doing the transition, which made them think I had done any asynchronous movement with the shoulders. But after looking at the video, they decided it was a good rep. Pretty happy I got it as a good repetition. Talking about pull-ups, we have again Aubin from France with 108 kilogram pull-up. That was his third attempt. You can see that his grip is not as high as mine. His hand is a little bit lower than mine, which is interesting because I like keeping it higher so I can cut the range of motion for a little bit. But his grip is pretty loose. His pull starts pretty slow, but somehow he manages to accelerate right in the 90-degree part and overcome the bar. It's amazing to think that a minus 73 kilograms athlete can pull that much. I'm sure he can, like relatively he's pulling way more than me, which is crazy to think of. Maybe next season he will be moving up a category, because I think before the weighting he was around 79 kilograms, like a week before, which is a big weight cut, and I'm pretty excited to see how he will perform in the upper category with more energy and maybe more muscle mass. And to continue with pull-ups, we have the second strongest pull-up of the entire competition with Xavier from Italy with 108.75 kilogram pull-up. First attempt, pretty close grip, And notice how he grips the bar with the thumb over the bar. Very interesting. For example, Aubin and I grip with the thumb like around the bar, which it makes it better for the forearm activation. So it may seem easier to activate the other muscles if the forearm is more activated. There are some studies with this topic that talk about it, that gripping with the thumb over, it would not seem to be the most optimal way, but this guy does it and he pulls a world record, so we're not going to discuss it much here. Grip over the bar, with the thumb over the bar, very close grip, and he just gets the height. It's crazy. He's gripping so close that once he has passed the 90 degrees, he needs to throw himself to the bar. If he had to pause at the top, he wouldn't be able to pause that close because the elbows would be very flared out. But it works for him to get enough height for the repetition. It looked very, very good. It's the world record for the minus 94 kilogram weight category. Let's talk about dips. And I'm going to start with Bartolomiej from minus 80 kilograms category from Poland. He dipped 160 kilograms. He competed in the Slovenian classifier, and I think he hit 155 or 56 kilograms there. So it's really improvement to get a little bit more kilograms, especially because the judges were very strict in this competition. So really, really good improvement. And as you can see, he goes down with his chest pretty opened, we would say. Some athletes, for example me, like to do a little bit of protraction, so we cover more our chest and we get in a better position for pushing. But others like to go with the chest more like flared out and push more with the chest, which is his case. It's interesting. For me, it doesn't really work. I've tried it, but it's an interesting technique, different from mine, that we will see in a moment. But first, let's go with Nadine. In the minus 57 kilograms weight category, doing an 83.5 kilogram dip. Insane. Also, I think he's dipping pretty wide relatively to her height, which is crazy. As you can see, the difference from Bartolomiej, she's dipping with this protraction. As you can see, when she goes up the parallel bars, she starts leaning forward without opening the chest. She gets depth and basically shoots up, and yeah, it's amazing. It's super fast. I think she got maybe 85 or 86 in the tank that day. I think it's the heaviest dip ever for female, at least in the final rep competitions. Wow, super, super crazy. Now we have Aubin, again, hitting a 157.5 kilogram dip in the minus 73 kilograms category. Let's see if he's also doing the protraction. He's doing more or less like a mix. He's not fully opened, but he's not doing full protraction. So he's more or less in between both techniques, but yeah, it worked for him. Amazing. And for the last dip, I'm doing myself, doing the world record dip in the minus 87 kilogram category with 182.5 kilogram dip. Also a fun fact, it's the heaviest dip in the entire competition. This was my second attempt. I was planning to go heavier on the third one, but the height of the box was a little bit off, with what I'm used to in trainings. And my chest was not feeling 100%, so I failed the third attempt, and you can see here the second. You can see also how I put this protraction before going down. For me, it feels way better for pushing this way. My left shoulder tends to go higher than the right one. That's why I need to go very, very, very deep to get the depth in the left side. But yeah, I got it done. It was pretty slow. The way up was pretty slow. As you can see, I failed the third attempt, sadly, but that was a PR and a new world record, so I can't be mad at it. And to finish, I want to talk about Sarah from Germany, who was the first female to total 300 kilograms in competition. She usually posts videos doing freestyle, also tension, also streetlifting. Just imagine how strong she is, considering that she's also training for maybe statics or freestyle, and she manages to total 300 kilograms in the plus 70 kilogram category. So that was it for the sum of the world records. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned some details. Thank you very much for listening to me. It's been a pleasure. See you in the next video.